Bom dia, good morning. Welcome to the Innovation for the Future Crowd Circle. In this circle, we talk about what is happening in the innovation for the future and the challenge that we have in building or co-creating next culture game worlds, or game worlds that are more responsible and regenerative in this mindset. And it's welcome your sharings, your challengings, your learnings. Please come to the circle and share with us what is happening in your life of a game world builder. For today, we had the 3-1, Barbara, Thierry, and me. I propose that we go for a check-in and after we go from what was alive in the field. Are you okay with that, Thierry, Barbara? Yes, I start. I have a good night's sleep this night. The previous night was very shaky, but this one was a very good night. And I'm noticing that I'm sleeping more hours. In the beginning of the week, I was sleeping around 5.5, 6 hours, and now I'm in the around 7 hours. But I'm sleeping more. Today my energy is a little bit low. I don't know why, but I'm noticing that I'm with more slowly. My movements are more slowly. I have a very full day with a lot of different things in front of me and some challenges. I feel fear and anger about my day. And I also have joy because my children will arrive at the end of the day to stay the week with me till next week. And they are in holidays. In their school, they have this middle term vacations. They have this 1 week now in February and 1 week in October, November, and I really enjoy that middle term because they have the opportunity to rest and to do completely. They have holidays at every 2 months. They have something holidays. And I enjoy that, and I'm glad to receive them today. And we usually have a different night in the first night, in the Fridays, with pizza and chocolate and movie and things like that. But I call that a gremlin feeding day or night. And this is our gremlin feeding. Yeah, that's me arriving today. Thank you.
I jump. I'm connecting with this sprout that I see outside, and I opened the windows in this morning, and it was I can feel it in the air, the sensation and the temperature, and also the birds singing. And I feel it inside myself also. I feel something that is arriving, and I also feel this youth energy on me. Something like I don't know, maybe I don't care really why, but it's something that is in me and is very joyful. I also think it's because I need to shake something like this. It's a way to deal with things around me, and the way for me now is to shake, to to play and to look to the sun, and like my plants here, they always move to the sun. Yeah, that's me.
Thank you, Bert.
Yeah, for me, I'm in a peaceful place, and I actually had a very interesting, intense dream last night. It was around I think it's some building that was still, they were still working on it, and I and some other guy were experimenting with getting, what do you call it, parapet, like this flying thing off the ground. And this other guy was taking off, but it didn't really work out. So halfway he crashed, and he fell into like a little water thing. So we were just lucky that he survived. And yeah, just in my personal life, I also feel like there's some forward movement, but it's actually more creative, not really it's more like this kind of stuff. I made a little hook so I can put a flower on it, on my magic stick. And last week I started to restore a little table that I found here. So just this kind of thing. And I put out a few things yesterday for like the project stuff that I was interested in. But I feel, it's really kind of a time that it's the most important thing is to be grounded. And the only way I can be grounded, of course, in the earth, but also in the heart, because it's I can see it's just has been my path for a long time, and that's my role. So yeah, that's that. And the last thing I started to explore a whole series of the great innovators like Einstein, up to the recent guy I know, Nassim Haramein. And what I picked up from these guys is that it needs a lot of courage to do this kind of work. And what Nassim Haramein, some people say is kind of a modern day Einstein, says also it needs a lot of compassion, because for most people it's a huge shift, like a paradigm shift. Basically, we're in that's at least what I see, many of us in a paradigm shift, and most people just prefer what they already know and not the unknown of a new paradigm. So that's where I am, and I'm glad that I can just grow in this compassion and just do step by step and be with you today. Thank you.
Thank you, Thierry. I want to bring to the circle the experience that I had with more two of us. We did a learning and sensing journey to the Lousá area to visit some projects around there. And I went, me, Gilles, and Ivan, and we visit several projects, and the projects are being created by the same people. And the first thing that I noticed that is very interesting, it's the first time that I find that in this innovation for the future thing, meaning these people that are creating something that has to do with what could be the next culture or the next cultures, is that it's a family, a father, a mother, and the three kids, but they are adults. They are adults, and they are working and co-creating together. And it's the first time that I saw that in this context. I don't know if you have some reference around that in the projects that you know, but the ones that I know in the innovation, it's the first time that I'm seeing a family completely involved. The people are around 50, 60, the father and mother, and the young ones are between 20s and 30s, around that. And they already have families also. And that's a family thing, and that really touched me. And I was puzzled with that. Wow, this is very interesting. And they started that work about 20 years ago. They creating the first project that they created. It is the Cerdeira Home for Creativity. And they recover completely a village, a small village, about 30 houses around this, of xisto, aldeias de xisto. And they didn't have people to work in that because that heart lost in the time. And they did research and bring people and teach people, and they experiment. The first house that they recovered, they have to take it down again because it didn't work properly. And they learn, and now they have a lot of people in the area that knows how to build that kind of stuff. And that is the first thing. And they did that house by house during this last 16 years as a family thing. The first house was for them, like a holiday house. The children was small children, and the playground, that was the playground in holidays for the children. It's a very beautiful place with water. It's a valley, and they are in the Lousã. Lousã, it's Bioregion I near Serra da Estrela. And that is the kind of landscape that they have there. It's very beautiful. And they in the project, they did very interesting things, and from that things came some challengings. One of them, they decided to have local stuff, wood, stones in the building, and also for the houses, the materials they use, the towels, the things to put in the bed. They decided to have from the most local that they can find, not from imported or IKEA or whatever, but really find local stuff and local people to do that. And there was a big challenge. Some of the things, the most local that they find was 200 or 300 kilometers from there. And that was a very interesting thing to look in this culture thing, because we are used to buy the stuff that are outside, like outside Europe or in Europe or whatever, and we lost the capacity of doing the stuff near. And they are putting with this conscience consumism, that they are doing that, buying in a conscious way the stuff for the Cerdeira. They are showing that, and they are living this challenging of having the things local, and that really touched me. And I imagine that some of the projects around Portugal and around the innovations for the future has this kind of challenges also. And at the same time, it's very beautiful and very unique. You go there and you find work from that craftsman, that artisan. I don't know to say in English. That you find work of this one and that one and that one, and that whole is integrated with beauty. And they also find several interesting solutions for heating, for the use of energy in the place. And yeah, they have very, very amazing things there, with this mindset of finding local stuff that really could interrelate with what happened in that place. What was the story of that place? What was the culture in that place for the last centuries? They find stuff for us to have a really experience of being in 21st century with the comfort of 21st century, but maintaining the relation with what is in the surrounding at the same time, and not consuming too much, and have conscience in the way we are in the space. That was one of the things that touched me. And they are now doing 3 other projects. One is recovering two other villages near. It's a 20 minutes walk in the mountains. And that village are completely on the floor, and they are recovering from the bottom. And they are deciding to do that with this regenerative stuff. They have more or less 300 hectares of land, and they are recovering the forest around. They already started. When I was there, there was machines moving and doing the lines for planting and all that stuff. It's Mauricio, I don't know if you know this name, Mauricio from Foz, that is working with them in this regeneration of the landscape. Mauricio is one of the experts in Portugal in these matters. He also has this project nearby that's called Foz. It's a center of permaculture. And the vision from the area, the regeneration, to put that new village in the service of a regeneration mindset and to bring new people. Cerdeira has a movement around 5,000 to 6,000 people every year. They already bring a lot of people to that region and to Lousã. They have a kind of movement like smaller, but like Boom has in Idanha and Tamera has in Odemira. They have been this center of attracting people from outside, from Portugal and from outside Portugal in the last years. And they want to really increase that with this new recovery, with this new village that they are dedicated. They want to build a regenerative lab there for exploring these things around recovering forest and this kind of stuff. And they also are doing like a co-work incubator. It's a mix of things in Lousã for receiving people that came from abroad, from fixing people there. And Silveira will have a different mindset of Cerdeira. Cerdeira has these people rotate there. They go for a workshop and a week and things like that. And in Silveira, they want that people stay at least 2 weeks and at the maximum 1 year and a half. You can go and do your writing of your PhD thesis there. You can go and do a work. You can go and learn something about the forest and experiment something about the forest. It's a bigger time span for you to be there and learn. It's more the learning center, learning by doing, an experiential learning center, and more dedicated to these things. And meanings that in Lausanne, they want to build a center for receiving the people and helping the people to fixate in around, and also at the same time bringing new industries. They are inviting mushroom production for Lousã, kind of mushrooms that are more rare. They usually are produced in China. They are designing a thing to do that in Lousã. That what can be done in this kind of places that has this mindset of regeneration. It's what is in this mind of this family. And I was very touched with that. With seeing the family experimenting at the low scale, finding the challenging, finding some solutions, and open that vision to a more. That they know they call the vision a regenerative valley for all that valley, big valley that goes from the mountains until Lousã. And they put on the table 2 or 3 challenges. One of them is they say that they don't find people to work with them in the area. People went outside to cities, to Porto, to Lisboa, to Coimbra, to other places, and they are not there, and they are fighting with that. It's one of the reasons that they want to bring more people to the area and to invite people to the area. I also noticed that in other parts of the country, that is being a challenge. To don't have people to work and do the work in teams. And they are, what the solution that they are finding, they are a lot of young people around 20s that are from several nationalities that are available to go to this kind of places and experiment new stuffs and live from there. And some of them came from that. And that is also a very interesting movement. This, what is happening around these 20s in all over the world, that these young people are available not to go for a big company, but to join projects like this one. And that was very interesting. And I talk with some of them. The other thing that is money is how to fund this kind of stuff. We already talk about that here in innovations, in this circle, and that is a challenge. And they are also experimenting with that. And they have some very interesting experience. One of them, it's they design like a anonymous society, and they define that the value of the share is 1,050 euros, and 1.500 euros, and they are inviting friends and families and the ones that they meet for buying one of that share. That's it. You can't buy more, 2 or 3. You just can't buy one, and being part of that collective that is doing that work for several generations ahead. And they are experimenting with that, and they have more or less, I don't remember the real number, but it's around 500, around 500 people that already commit to do that for funding the project, and they are inviting more to do. That is a very interesting solution that they find. And they also are doing in the land another experiment that I saw others doing also. They divide the land in small squares, and they invite a company to sponsor that square for several years, not for 1 year, but for 10 or 20 years, saying, guys, if you want to do a carbon sequestration for real, you need to commit, because the tree takes a long time to grow, and it's not put the seed in the soil. If you want to do that, you pay something. You can come here and help us and do voluntary and whatever, but this square is your responsibility. We take care for that responsibility for you, but it's your. And some of the companies are saying yes. We are willing to do that. It's for a company, it's not a big budget, it's a small budget. And yes, they need several companies to cover all the land, but it's a very interesting contact. And they are experimenting with this kind of stuff, like a bridging in the modern culture and what could be the next culture around money. That was a very interesting thing to observe and to listen and to learn with them. And the last one that they put on the table, it's this, they are, what to say, they are starting to notice what I also hear from Artur, from Boom, and also from Peter in Tamera, that how to receive people that came from abroad, because there is several challenges in these remote places. Like one of them is people don't rent houses. They have the house closed, and they only rent houses for someone that they know. They don't put the house in the market to rent. Meaning, if you want to rent a house, you have to meet the owner and have connection with the owner. And that is a completely different thing from what we are used in the urban areas. And I have a recording also for a center that emerged in Oledo, Idanha Nova, Casa do Aldeão, that Emma talked about that. She comes from the Porto to live in Idanha, and she has struggled to find places there. And she created these places, the Casa Aldeão, for hosting people because of that. And that is one of the problems that she said also Idanha has. That, like, yes, we are friendly to receive, but there is this is the first layer. The second layer, we need to connect and need to interact with people. And they are also find that challenging there, how to receive people or to support people in coming from and finding the school, the house, the way of living in that area. And that is the third challenging that they put on the table. Yeah. And for me, it was a very, very touching learning and sensing journey to see the complexity of all of that, They are in the mountains. They have water, but the water goes down the mountain. It's the springs that go down the water. How to have the water for that kind of projects and put the water in as a cycle. They have very interesting challenges there. And I'm seeing several bridges with other projects and other things that have some similar things. It was really touching to be there and listen to dreams, and mainly to see a family completely embedded in that and doing. And the youngest son was the one that was responsible for the movement of the land and all that stuff. The oldest one is helping in innovation and finding new practice to bring to the daughter is the one that managed the Cerdeira. They are all engaged there. That was really amazing to see. And I open the space for you to bring some thoughts and questions, and also bring the knowledge you have around these issues. What kind of projects, what kind of things that you know that have this similar problems or challengings, or that you find, if you know that any other project that has a family in the center, this kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you.
I can share something. One organization that I connected with, I think quite early when I came here to Portugal, it's called Ecosystem Restoration Lab camps, and by then they had it was started in the Netherlands actually, but they had one project in Spain on the Altiplano, some really dry area that they were recovering. And basically the concept was that they were setting up a camp and with basic facilities, and there should be a plan, also kind of long-term plan with a bit of kind of scientific backing. And then they invited young people to come there, basically just very simple on a campsite, and part of the year you can, big part of the year you can do that, quite nice. Food and drink and everything was provided. And actually these young people, they paid for it. It was kind of a paid holiday. And this week I attended a Zoom call with them. And I think they have about 50 projects now all around the world. And the one they focused on now was in South Africa. There's one in Portugal, in Aljezur. I haven't been there. And what they do is knowledge sharing and exchange, and through their platform, just giving young people. And I know in my country and other countries also, you know, there's a lot of interest with young people, but they often they cannot do it in their own country. Like in Holland, everything is just flat, and I mean, there's just no place you can do stuff like this. Or there are other reasons. And of course, the weather can also be interesting to go to another country. And the second thing that they started to do is a few years ago is organize online trainings for this kind of restoration work. I think, like, I don't know, 500 or 1,000 euros. And I don't know how many people they got for that. So that might be interesting network also to connect in with. Basically, projects can just sign up and become a partner. I don't know if they have to pay anything for that. I can check up on that. So that can be a very valuable thing, because one thing is, of course, to lift it up and let people know about this work. That helps. And as always, also just knowledge sharing is important, because I think we're getting in a time that now it's maybe still difficult to get people, but the tipping point also in economy will go start happening this year. And then there will be more people also in the cities saying, okay, fuck, you know, I cannot get work, or I don't like the work that I'm in. and I might as well just do something useful with my life. And for the young people, it's just building the new world, and for us, it's just restoring a little bit and passing it on in a nice way to the next generation. So I'll check up on these ecosystem restoration camps for you. You have a question?
We don't hear you.
Sorry, I was asking you to say again the name of the project.
It's called ecosystem restoration. Okay. Ecosystem restoration camps.
I will put the link in the recording, in the description.
Yeah, maybe just one last thought. You know, when I see very strongly like the passion and the energy goes there, and I love these projects also. Then maybe spend some more time also on finding out, okay, what kind of nucleus or what kind of collective thing you could create to make it more visible and also more interesting for the mainstream world. Because one thing what I can still see, you know, many of these projects, they tap into the same kind of subculture mindset. And for instance, if I would bring my brother, who's like now the financial manager of DHL in the Netherlands, a guy like that, I know for sure, you know, he just, some stuff he just looks at it and thinks, whoo, it's really, minimum is really a different world. And so somehow you have to bridge the culture gap also there. Maybe with ambassadors or something. So I want also to put that in the dialogue.
Yeah, for me, the important in this context, the important it's not to give advice to the projects by themselves, but to bring others. Okay, when you talk about a family that is in the center, I know this project and that one that has this also in the city. Or when you talk about this challenging of welcome new people that came from Portugal or abroad, these guys also have that thing, and that guy like weaving and bringing to the table what is happening around, that maybe the guys will not do the work that they are doing. They are there, they live the challenging every day. But if they know that others have that challenge, like when I went there, I listened them and I saw, wow, I had an interview with Artur, and Artur talked about this. This is the problem that they have been in the last 20 years. They are experimenting with that. Maybe you can connect with Artur and have a conversation around that and see what worked and what didn't work in Idanha. The people in Tamera has that for 30 years. A lot of people come around because of that, because of Tamera and what happened, and decide to be. Also in Muji ashram, you are starting to have the same phenomenon. People that came for a retreat and things like that, and decided to stay in the place. And this kind of stuff is happening all around, and they have that challenge. You know, I can do like a bridge and bring this wisdom to the table. Say, guys, these guys are doing that and that. Please connect with them and have a conversation. Yes, they need to find the solutions and not have the solutions. For me, what is important is that it's to have this knowledge on the table. Like, guys, you are not alone. There are others that are living these challenges. Please talk with them and see what happens. See what can you learn together. What can we experiment together? And that is what is for me innovations for the future about. It's really stopping this thing of I'm alone. I'm the only guy that knows how to do things, or the next cultures will be I'm alone. And start engaging with others at several levels, That is for me what Innovations for the Future is about. Is I don't want to give advice and say how the things need to be done in a place. I don't know. I really don't know. I go in a very humble way to that place and then say, wow, this what they are doing is amazing. And I saw the challenge. I really saw the challenge and how they did it. They find solutions for that challenge, not having people that know how to build shish houses, and they find a way of doing that. Yeah, the others that want to recover Aldeia cheese doesn't have to do the same. They can go there and learn with that and talk with these guys, and also the guys in the Awakened Lad project. They also have the same problem. This kind of stuff we can go together, and yeah, that's what is alive in me. I want to share the other experience that I have connected with Innovations for the Future. It was a circle of 20 persons around that came from all the country, several areas of the country, several completely different projects. One comes from municipalities, others from companies, others from eco-village, for retreat centers, you name it, for human development part, for university, really very different people from ecosystem restoration. And we had a day together, sharing and leaving some maps. And what I learned in that space is that two things. One, it's a reinforcement of an idea that you already bring, Thierry, to the table. It's that people want to meet, want to be with others and sharing experience, and that comes very alive with me with this experience, and it was a very beautiful experience. And the second thing is that we don't have a common language to speak about, and when someone, and we did that, brings some language, some distinctions, like we bring distinctions about responsibility and sustainability to the table, the conversations really change, because now we have something in common to talk about our experience, about what we are doing and how we are doing. Like people, when we arrived in the room, the word more used was regeneration. I mean regeneration. I mean regeneration. I mean regeneration. Suddenly, when we have distinctions about what means to have, there is 6 levels of thinking in sustainability. When you put that on the table, people start talking about regeneration and really go deep in what they are doing. Maybe I'm doing greenwashing. I was thinking that I was doing regeneration, but I'm doing greenwashing. I'm continue to be in the degenerative side of the systems. Oh, maybe I'm not doing regeneration. I'm doing restoration. That is a completely different thing. Yes, it's important to do, but it's a completely different thing. And wow, people start engaging in completely different conversations, and you put some distinctions on the table, and you invoke that their experience with that distinctions. And I live that. And people ask us at the end to start doing like a prototype or a thing like this, like in the what you could call leadership in regeneration, or leadership in cultures that are responsible and regenerative. I don't know the name, but they call us to really start thinking in that. And for me, leadership, I have a very narrow concept about leadership. It means I'm a leader in the sense that I start make conversations in circles. Barbara, you know about this. I invite people to come with me and start conversations in circles, and we do check in and check out. I'm not saying you need to do that, but I do that. You want to do with me? Yes, and I'm doing that for the last 15 years. And all my conversations now are in a circle, and we did check in. It doesn't matter. And for me, that means leadership, means thinking in new patterns of behavior and really support that patterns to be alive and to repeat themselves as a way of being sustainable in life. And I'm using the word in this broad meaning. And we are all leaders in that sense, because we are all repeating patterns. And if I'm not aware of my patterns, the ones that I'm repeating, I'm playing the game of someone else. I'm not playing my game. I'm playing the game of someone else. And in that sense, for me, that is leadership. It's you also talk a lot about this, Thierry. It's the awareness of my own patterns. And I noticed that in that circle, and it was really amazing to see that and to have that invitation from that people to start thinking ways of us having language together and this kind of distinctions, and start engaging in conversations that really help us to have completely different patterns in our everyday life. Not as a imaginary thing, as a concrete and real thing. Like I'm seeing a bottle of plastic in the floor. I walk, I see a plastic of bottle in the floor, and I get the bottle of plastic and I put in the right place. It doesn't matter who put the bottle there. I know that bottle, if continues to be on the floor, 80% of them goes to the sea and goes to the acidification of the sea and whatever, all the problems that create a mess. That is a pattern. That is an everyday pattern. And this kind of stuff that we are talking in was really, really touching to have that conversation with that people in that day. These two learnings stay with me. And I'm at a lot of joy of having the conversation and a lot of fear of that challenging, because I don't know. I don't know how to embrace that challenge. And yeah, that is the other experience that I have with these people. And for me, it was so joyful because with this number, I don't remember the last time. Maybe it was in Tamera or Idanha. Yeah, Idanha. It's 2 years, or almost 2 years. And it was really touching to be with that people. And a Saturday and engaging was really amazing. And it was a very beautiful day. We are in Biovilla. It was a very beautiful day. Well, we are blessed, like how the universe conspired for that gathering to happen, and was really heartfelt. Thank you for and what comes alive when you listen this kind of sharing.
Well, I'm here. I want to jump because I didn't hear nothing about, but maybe these projects are taking care of this particular thing that is the culture and the people that already there, they are living there in that spaces, in these places, in this village, the knowledge that they have. I would like to know if you know something about this. I hear you saying that they have difficulties to do the houses and they don't have people to work there, but I don't know if it's the same thing. But yeah, but I would love, because I can feel now here in Lisbon that the movement of new people are newcomers to live here in Lisbon. And sometimes I feel angry, really. And my mind can say to me, okay, it's good to have new things coming to Lisbon and to be close to me. And I love to know things from another culture, but at the same time, I believe this is my, I don't know. I think things are not connecting, something like this. People are coming, but we are not relating. And this brings my anger, I think. I was feeling this before COVID, and I started doing just to understand what I was feeling and to understand what the others, the comers, could bring and how they felt. So I was doing this. I volunteered to work with this. I don't remember the Speak organization that teach Portuguese to foreigners. I have this experience because I need to feel, I need to understand what is happening inside me. And my mind, I must say that I don't want to feel this for other people. I don't want to feel like they are coming here and they will steal my job, something like this. I don't want to feel like. So I made this movement of going and start to teach Portuguese, to know them, to get connect with. Yeah, I'm bringing this to the table because I think it's something very, very important to take care of this matter, of the people that were already there and the way they lived and all the knowledge they have, and how can we bridge also these worlds. That's why I bring my reactivity and to the table. And I know some projects, not about wool in this area in the north, in the Serra da Estrela. I saw it on the television. It's very beautiful work that she does. She lives here in Lisbon, and she calls Rosa Pomar. And well, she has a shop of to really weave things and this kind of arts of weaving and needles and things like this. And she also starts to go to look for the wool that could be made in Portugal. And she discovered that things are almost, sorry, my English sometimes is hard. So she has this challenge of don't have Portuguese wool that we have before. So she goes to the places and to know the fabrics, and also the guys that have the ships, and she worked together, and she already have some wools that she made with these people, with the owners of the ships and the fabrics, and something that is, sprout, something like this. Yeah, I noticed the time, so I leave here what is emerging in me. And sorry for the confusion.
Thank you, Barbara. I think we have more time for the last round, and as a what needs to be said, and also checkouts. Right?
Well, I jump again, because in my mind and in my body, I feel this. I'm really related with culture and popular culture. and just reminding that we are in the intrudo, that now is called carnival, I think in English. And this intrudo thing is an ancient thing, and I've been in the north some years ago in Lousã, that they have this celebration, and this celebration is really, really beautiful, and it's a collective thing. I remember of eating soup in the outdoors that were made collectively, or something like this, and it's a big tacho, I don't know. It's a big vase with the soup, and we eat together with all the people there and the people that are born in that village, even if they don't live there. And the main thing of this celebration is something like we put out the shadow. We put out the things that we don't like. It's something like shaking. And that's what I feel now here. I feel this before, I don't know, now I know the Catholic things is before Easter. I don't know, but I think these pagans celebrations, I think is related more like with spring and the seeds and things like this. Well, still very mixed. It's the intrudo coming here, and I put it in the middle.
Thank you, Barbara. My checkout is I'm very humble right now with what I'm learning with these journeys around the country and meeting these people, and with fear of the challenges, the challenge that arrived to my door, and I don't know how to do it. And it's me that is very alive in me. Thank you.
Thank you. For me, I recognize also the cultural differences, and I had it actually here last half year that I was just surprised by myself. You know, I saw some new people. Okay, they were just with little children, so there was more noise. But how irritated I could get, and I realized also somehow I just put a dot on the horizon. You know, I just, if I look at it, then they're not bad people, they're nice people. So with a good heart, and someday we will just have lunch together. And I don't know what will happen, but just be aware of my own kind of judgments and irritation, and just going back to, okay, where is my it's not even ambition, but I could say by experience my true position, my heart, and I think that is one of the golden keys in this time to create anything together to get there. And yeah, thank you for coming together.
Thank you, Thierry. Thank you, Bárbara. Have a nice intrudo. Tenha bom carnaval.
Obrigada.
Até já.
Até já.